is running. Both feeds are up. We'll give you guys the alternate view of what we can see here. We're on the corner here from behind, kind of like behind things. Stroupe. I know Dan. We got Chief Greenbud. See if you can get the guy's name. That's the comedian. He's going to come over here too before he goes on the air. There he is. No, that's comedian. How you doing?
Zach in One Army? Is that what you're talking about?
No, there's a comedian airing right before Chief Greenbud on stage. I can't remember his name. He's coming over. I guess if you get a chance, write his name down because I'll screw it up.
I don't know.
If you get a chance off mic, ask him what his name is.
We'll whisper it.
Okay. Got a minute and a half to air. Is that where we're at, guys? Okay, you're going to have to give me a heads up because I don't have a second timer here. All I've got is a minute timer. So give me a heads up when we get down because I can. Okay. If we can get a splitter, we can get you guys some headphone sound in here.
Okay.
If you want to grab a splitter out of the box.
The blue mic is active, Rick. The one at your feet is not, but it shouldn't be at your feet.
I'm 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute to air, guys. Okay, I'm going to pot my sound down now. So don't be afraid that, because don't be afraid. Stay tuned for the all-new Political Twist-Up Show, brought to you by Clio Cultivation and by the law offices of Targowski and Grow. The show starts after this. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients. Are you a business that Michigan medical marijuana patients would be interested in? Here's an opportunity to list in the Michigan Medical Marijuana Business Directory for free. People from all over Michigan come to the Michigan Medical Marijuana Business Directory to find goods and services at local establishments. List yours for free by going to mmma.biz and click on Add Business. You can even choose to add features to your listing that add additional benefits. Grow your business. List it for free at mmma.biz. That's mmma.biz.
Weed at last, weed at last. Thank God Almighty, weed at last.
Reefer madness, the Woodstock generation, the rampant use of weed during Vietnam, the war, and medical marijuana as well. These are all integral parts of the decades-old debate over whether pot should be legal across the United States. A majority of Americans have always been adamant, no, do not legalize pot. Until now. For the first time since it began polling on the issue more than 40 years ago, the Pew Research Center is finding that a majority of Americans now favors legalizing marijuana, 52-45. Pew says the support for making pot legal has absolutely soared since 2010. In fact, it has soared 11 points. And this poll shows the big push is from young people. Also, more than half of boomers are now favoring legalizing marijuana. Right now, here is the state of pot in the United States. 18 different states plus the District of Columbia have chosen to legalize pot for medical use. 2 of those states, Colorado and Washington State, have approved it for recreational use as well. That happened during the 2012 election. And joining us now for their take on the sea change in public opinion on the legalization of pot and if it will make any difference at all, CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin, who joins us by phone, and then in San Francisco, Ethan Nadelman of the Drug Policy Alliance, which advocates for the legalization of pot. Mr. Nadelman, let me begin with you. We've seen this before, where generations of people change and attitudes change, and then laws follow shortly thereafter. They change. Do you expect that will be the case here?
Well, it's definitely going to be the case, Ashley. You know, back in the late 70s, people thought we were on the verge of decriminalization or legalization of marijuana. But back then, barely a third of Americans were in favor, and most of the older generation were not baby boomers. They didn't know the difference between marijuana and heroin. Now you're seeing this Pew poll, Gallup polls, a whole range of others consistently showing a small majority of Americans in favor. So what happened in Washington and Colorado during the last election is going to happen again in other states around the country. In the same way that medical marijuana was legalized either through the initiative process or the legislative process in 18 states to date, we're going to see that same thing happening with the broader legalization of marijuana.
Let me bring in Jeffrey Toobin on this. You know, a lot of people make the case about same-sex marriage and that attitudes changed with regard to same-sex marriage, and the states shortly started changing as well. There have been a number of states, I think we're at 9 now, that allow same-sex marriage. And yet, there is this wisdom out there that drugs are different, that marijuana is different, that this isn't maybe a civil rights issue that other people think it is. Do you see the argument there as being apples and oranges?
Well, there is a parallel, but there's also a very important difference. With same-sex marriage, the federal government cannot and does not prohibit states from allowing same-sex marriage. There's the Defense of Marriage Act, which limits certain benefits for gay couples who are married, but they certainly don't prohibit it. What makes marijuana different and frankly unpredictable in how it will work is that even though Washington and Colorado have voted to legalize marijuana, it is still a federal crime to possess marijuana. And how federal and state law interacts as those states move towards legalization, I think, is the really big question that's unresolved at this point.
So help me answer that question, or at least get as close as you can to an answer, Jeffrey. Do you think that maybe the polls that are out there and the growing support for legalizing marijuana for recreational or medicinal purposes may have an effect on whether the feds decide to ever prosecute any state where it's legal?
Well, I think that is a process that is unfolding. I don't think the political support for legalization is anywhere near the level where you would have Congress simply repeal the federal marijuana laws, but there is an ongoing negotiation process between those states and the federal government about how they will prosecute it. But frankly, I mean, maybe Ethan knows better than I do, but I don't know how the federal and state laws will interact as these states move to legalize. It's really a difficult question.
Ethan, I know you make this your daily work.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, actually, I mean, Jeffrey's exactly right. What's going on right now is that the governors of Washington and Colorado, Inslee and Hickenlooper, have asked the Justice Department, Attorney General Holder, and the White House, give us a chance to implement these new laws. And Holder is obviously struggling with what to do right here. Now, here's the real dilemma, which is that the feds, to say to these governors in these two states, yes, go ahead, we're going to give you a qualified green light to implement these laws, is the right thing in terms of public safety, public health, finance, responsible regulation, regulating marijuana like alcohol. If, on the other hand, the feds say, no way, federal law just trumps, that's it, we're not going to let you do this, then what's going to happen is it's not like marijuana is going to go away. It's still going to be produced and sold, but it's all going to continue to be illegal. It'll all be in the hands of the criminals. And what that means from my perspective as an activist is that when we see the next wave of ballot initiatives coming up and legislation around the country, instead of doing these kind of responsible regulatory models to tax and regulate marijuana, the alternative is going to be to do what Americans did in the late 1920s and early 1930s with alcohol prohibition, which is to repeal the state marijuana prohibition laws and just say to the feds, if you want to enforce these laws, go ahead and try.
We're on location live this week in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We're at the Monroe Street Fair. It's Hash Bash.
This is the Political Twist-Up Show. PoliticalTwistUp.com if you didn't know. Here to put you in the zone. Dealing with real issues, real relevant on the real radio. You're cooling out with the Political Twist-Up Show.
Hey, welcome to the first seconds of our broadcast here, 2013 Hash Bash in Ann Arbor. I was expecting there's some music that was supposed to be in here. I don't know what happened to it. That's why I was waiting for the music to kick in. It didn't kick in for some reason.
I could sing, but we want people to actually listen, not tune out, so that would be a bad move.
Welcome to the Political Twist-Up Show. We're here Saturdays live from 3 until 4. We're out at the Hash Bash in Ann Arbor, Michigan this week. We'll do some of these live broadcasts out at high-profile venues. Next week, we're back in studio, and then coming up very soon on 4/20, that's a Saturday, on April 20th, we'll be in Denver, Colorado, broadcasting from the actual Cannabis Cup, the first ever legal Cannabis Cup in the United States. That's going to be a very high-profile thing right there.
Oh, it's an outstanding event, and for the Denver to host this is a real honor for that city. I'm sure they'll be up to the task. It seems like it's going to have a fantastic response on a national basis.
That mic is hot, by the way, so you guys are welcome to the program. We've only got a couple of seconds here before we go back to a commercial break. We wanted to highlight this information from CNN that they were talking about the idea that the polling now, the national polling, is it the Pew study?
Yes, it is. Pew Research Institute.
They said that for the first time in the 40-year history of its polling, the national trend is in favor of legalization of cannabis in the United States. And I think that's an awesome reflection of what's going on the ground level across the country.
We've seen this move for several years now, but this is really a dramatic step because the Pew results are indisputable. It's a center that's utilized by congressional agencies to do polling of this nature. So when they come up with an answer like this, no one can doubt it. The advantage of this obviously being that legislators that represent people that are really concerned with what their constituents think. They should be in favor of this now, and there's no excuse for them not to support pro-cannabis legislation any longer.
So we just got a couple of seconds to introduce what's going on here today, and then we're going to run off to commercial break. When we come back, we've got a bunch of high-profile guests. We've got Keith Stroupe. He's the founder of National NORML, and we've actually got some video loaded up ready to play for the people who are watching on our video stream. If you're listening on the radio, you hear the audio only. But if you want to catch that back later, check it out. Or you can watch it live now if you'd like to check it out and have the opportunity to at PoliticalTwistUp.com. That's PoliticalTwistUp.com. In just a bit, in a few minutes, right after the break, we'll actually talk to Dan Skye from High Times Magazine. Dan, say hi.
Hey, how you doing, man?
We're doing really well. We'll get into what's going on out here at Hash Bash in just a minute. Chief Greenbud coming on also.
All right.
He'll be hopefully he'll drag his guitar over here. I don't know if he'll have a guitar. Maybe he'll play a song for us.
No, I haven't seen him in a couple years.
Really?
Yeah.
He was he out here last year?
No, I saw him on Pine Ridge Reservation. He played for the Indians out there.
Oh, that's right. You know, I get a lot of
name here at the Monroe Street Fair. The Chief Greenbud's an annual performance.
It looks like you've got a mic cord that's got a little crackle in it. Oh no, it's definitely
just my bad voice.
No, it's definitely the microphone. So we'll see if we can get the microphone wires uncrossed. We are live at Hash Bash 2013. Stay with us on the Political Twist Up Show right here on the Multimedia Digital Network. Woo. The Political Twist Up Show.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Get everything you need at Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers. It's spring, and it's time you get to planting. And whether you're starting plants indoors for the outdoor season or just making your house more green, the technical experts at Hydrovision stores will help you with indoor design and supply so that your indoor gardening dreams always become reality. Mention my name, Steve Green, for a special discount. Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers in Howell, Trenton, Richmond, Fenton, and Belleville, one near you, or check out myhydrovision.com.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
You know, building your business starts with planning. Market planning, location strategy, competition, product availability. It's all very hard work, but none of it means anything unless you can get your customers to know about you. And you know, that's really the key right there, getting your customers to know about you. How do you do that? All that dedication goes to waste. The Multimedia Digital Network can provide you real-world, affordable solutions to your advertising needs. You get a rich environment for exposure potential where each listener is a potential client of yours. Unlike most advertising, targeted results. That's what you get with statewide exposure on shows like the Political Twist-Up Show. You can get started today and within your budget. Don't get short-sighted running a day-to-day of your business. Grow your business with affordable cross-platform advertising opportunities with the Multimedia Digital Network. Email sales@radioweedshow.com for details. That's sales@radioweedshow.com.
Life on Earth depends on plants to provide a major source of food, shelter, clothing, and medicine for all of us. If you love the same plants I do, we share something very special. Hey, it's Buddy inviting you to be a part of the Clio Cultivation family. If you even think of going green, remember the place that started up for the right reasons. Clio Cultivation is here to help you grow only the best and guarantees the lowest prices. Now offering 1,000-watt ballasts for $89.95, complete systems for $179, 8 light T5s, $189. Buy a 1,000-watt quantum digital ballast, best deal ever, $185, and price prices on Ocean Forest and Happy Frog so low, I can't mention it. Call for details at 810-686-GROW or stop by 11394 North Saginaw Road. Visit our booth at the first annual Genesee County Indoor Gardening and Information Expo, April 13th and 14th at the Stonegate Banquet Center in Davison, Saturday 10 to 9, Sunday 10 to 6. Get free samples and enter to win huge prizes. See you there.
The Political Twist Up Radio Show. Okay, we're back live. Hash Bash 2013. We're actually at the Monroe Street Fair in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Steve Green and Rip Thompson here. Hey, Rick, what happened to Denise? Where's she at?
She had a speech at the Hash Bash, and I'm not sure where she is, but certainly you could understand getting lost between there and here. There are so many people at Monroe Street Fair. Dan, you've been to events all across America. How does this rank with some of the other big ones?
I'm amazed how big this thing is. I really, truly. We've been putting on stateside medical cannabis cups, as you well know, for about the last 2-3 years. We have our 10th one coming up in Denver, the U.S. Cannabis Cup. And this, to me, is like a preview of what that's going to be, because I'm trying to estimate the crowds. And this looks like what we're expecting in Denver. So it looks like it's manageable. But, man, this is some group. I'm telling you, man.
This is always nuts out here. You know, if you don't get out here like super early and reserve a parking space, good luck hiking your ass up here, you know?
Yeah, well, I went to school here, so I know the residential streets. I got a parking space not far away. Probably got my car towed, though, at this point.
You know, I think I got a ticket here last year for parking. It's like you get the ticket. It's like $10. You go down. You know, it's like you're parking for the day now. You get the ticket. You're good for the day.
Well, they've got a lot better than I lived. I got tickets every damn day. These Ann Arbor police are you know, they're tolerant of pot, but boy, I'll tell you, parking. Watch out, they're Nazis.
You know what? They got to get their money somehow, Dan. Somehow they got to get their cash.
Well, I'll take parking over pot arrests anytime.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. You know, because they crack down a lot harder on the pot in places where they crack down. So, you know, just as an overview, your participation, how many times have you been here to the Ann Arbor Hash Bash in the history of the Cannabis Cup? Well, in the history of High Times Magazine.
Well, like I said, I went to University of Michigan here, got my master's degree here in 1975, went to the Hash Bash here, came out, smoked a joint. It was a real windy day, got about 2 puffs. Didn't think I was high. I had to actually meet with an advisor, and by the time I got to meet with her, I realized it was some of that creeper reefer, and man, I was high. And I lost my scholarship, but that's not a big deal. I mean, pot has never hurt me. But that was the only Hash Bash I've been to, and so it's 38 years later. Here I am again, and it's like deja vu all over again.
You know, every single year when you come out here, the first thing you get is the waft in the air as you pull up. Even early in the morning parking, you catch that smell, and you're like, yep, it's Hash Bash.
Oh, Ann Arbor is the best, man. I'll tell you, listen, it was like that all the time. I went to college here 74, 75, 76. It was a $5 desk appearance ticket if you got caught smoking pot. What is it, like $25 now, something like that?
Is it 25? I think it is 20 or $25.
You see, I still don't even agree with that.
No, do
but,
I don't either.
Yeah, but it's public smoking, and, you know, like Amsterdam, they don't like you to smoke on the streets there either. So
right. That's why they have the coffee shop.
Right, exactly. So it's the same level of tolerance. But it's amazing that this little quiet Ann Arbor law has been in effect for Christ's sakes in the 60s, as far as I know.
Yeah. And the thing I think that's notable about it is that East Lansing soon followed with their little law the same way.
Right.
And for the longest time, I remember even as a child reading I read it in High Times that these were the places that were the most lenient in the country regarding cannabis.
Well, I'll tell you even more than that, man. When I was here at U of M, I mean, we were all smoking, you know, like the Mexican swag, and then suddenly the Colombian Gold hit the campus, and it was orange, folks, and it was outstanding, and it was such a rush. Suddenly it was $60 an ounce. So, I mean, Ann Arbor was like the marijuana center of universities in the country, and I was glad to be here during the heyday. It was a tremendous experience as far as marijuana is concerned.
What was it like, I guess? Now, I didn't have the advantage of being there. You were there. You know, what was it like hanging out with Sinclair that long ago? Did you get a chance to hang out and hobnob with Sinclair that long ago?
A little bit before my time, you know, seriously. I mean, I came here and, you know, it was just the mid-'70s, and what they always say is the 70s what the 60s wanted to be. Right. And I can attest to that. I can remember none of it. So, it was a tremendous experience. So, and this is where I got to start smoking marijuana and having a respect for it. I used it for rehearsals. I was in the theater department, and believe me, I never gave a bad performance when I was high, as far as I know.
You know, I don't know. I personally don't like to perform under the influence of anything. It can twist things up for me. Hi, it's Terry Marionette. It's not Marionette.
Terry Marionette.
Well, at high times though, they do drug test us, and if we come up negative, it's we can lose our job.
There you go.
If you come up negative,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's a bad thing.
Bad thing.
Narc detection.
I'm telling you, they do not like that. So I mean, this is called. I'm a marijuana journalist, and I'm proud to have that job. And
we were doing the medical marijuana radio show for a couple of years, and we were activists on that front, and we got a lot of stuff accomplished here in Michigan under that name, and so we're very proud of that. And it's nice to be here in Ann Arbor enjoying some of the festivities that come along with the Hash Bash. Now, the Hash Bash is actually a protest, is it not? It's a protest of forms.
Well, it is a protest, and I think it started out that way. It was just like to say, we like pot, we're going to smoke it out openly, and that was what it was about at first. And
complete, unabashed, unashamed use.
That's what it was, and believe me, when I was there in 1975, it was like that. It was a bunch of students getting out there, celebrating spring, celebrating cannabis, and it was a celebration. And I'll tell you, even back then, there was such a tolerance, like I said before, but people just love marijuana in Ann Arbor, and it's just part of the scene.
Is the new face of marijuana still attached to the tie-dye and the hippie culture? Because that's, I think, how people still view it. I think it's not even the truth anymore. I think it's so ingrained in American culture.
No, it's not. It's not. We are seeing the mainstreaming of marijuana. We want to see marijuana as on the shelves, just like ginseng or St. John's wort.
Right.
That's
as
what
an
we
herbal
want.
supplement.
A dietary supplement.
You bet.
Right.
Dietary supplement, any kind of supplement, nutritional supplement. It's got to be used like that. It's a plant. People make too much out of the cannabis plant. They try to say it's this or that and the other thing. It's a plant, and it should be just. Let's take the shackles off it. That's what High Times is always saying. I mean, medical marijuana is great and everything. Love it. If you got an ailment, but as far as I know, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm completely normal. I just want to get high.
There you go. There's a lot of people out there that are just like that.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. William Courtney said the same thing. That was his description of how we should get legitimacy is through dietary supplement classification.
Well, I think the consumption of raw cannabis juice has some amazing implications with the endocannabinoid system inside the human body and how it entertains the function of the body.
Well, the one thing that we all know is that cannabis medicine is in its infancy. We're just laying the groundwork. When we're dead and gone, we're going to see cannabis on levels that we can't even dream of. People are going to look back at us as primitives. Right. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they put people in jail for this? Are you kidding me?
Look, they once put people in jail for black and white marrying together.
Oh,
I mean. Look, the culture changes and times change with the culture, and it's about time that this one cut up with reality.
The progression of chiropractic and acupuncture show that the society is willing to accept alternative forms of health, and this will have a similar arc that they did.
Right, and I think way too much, as all of us veteran marijuana smokers know, way too much is made out of getting high.
Yes.
I mean, seriously. I mean, I always say this. I was a Little League coach. I got high for every single game. Honest to God, I'm a photographer. I'm a writer. I've been married for 33 years. I have a great marriage. I have 2 kids who have advanced degrees. Where did I go wrong?
Right. Look, I feel much the same way. I mean, there's nothing that cannabis does to a person that is bad.
Yeah.
I've measured it in every way, from every aspect, from every angle. There is just nothing harmful about this.
Well, maybe we should stop saying getting high. Maybe just say, how about feeling better? How's that?
Well, sometimes that's exactly what it amounts to, is it being able to use it for a beneficial purpose, regardless of what it is.
Palliative effect, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
well, please don't tell me that it can only be extreme diseases, because not being able to sleep is an extreme disease. Go through it for a few nights, and not sleep. See how you feel.
For a non-harmful treatment form, it's just ridiculous to deny that to the majority of people who are economically disadvantaged and can't afford the pharmaceutical train that they're on, especially since you have to pay for all the attendant costs that come with it, with analysis and appointments.
But am I mistaken, guys? Has Michigan made it a little bit harder on medical patients than last week?
They have indeed, with the recent Supreme Court decision that patient-to-patient transfers are not allowed. It caused quite a conundrum for access models.
And also, you're not allowed to have a felony, and so many people who grow marijuana have had felonies.
That's very true.
And it's very easy to get wrapped up into a felony. I mean, there are a number of you could have a domestic dispute with your neighbor and all of a sudden have to be charged with a felony.
Right, and so you cannot grow marijuana because of a domestic dispute. Does a farmer go through this? You can't grow corn because you
can have an old bad check. You know, over $200, it's a felony. I mean, that's gonna prevent you from treating yourself or others with cannabis. Right. That's just kind of crazy.
That same Supreme Court has now handed up a decision that they're going to consider the People versus Wyoming decision, and they also mentioned that they'd consider the issue of federal supremacy to state law, which indicates, especially with the addition of Viviano on the Supreme Court, a tendency to believe that the federal law may be supreme to the state, and that's maybe an attempt to wipe out the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. It's not too far-fetched to believe that this Supreme Court, who delivered such a narrow decision in McQueen, could take that action.
Well, tell me this. What is the mood of Michiganders now? Are they going to get rid of Schuette? Are they going to get? Do you think we're going to clean house?
You know, this is just my opinion, and I'm just giving my personal opinion. So, radio people, take heart with what I'm saying. This is my own personal opinion. I think that the feeling amongst people is that there's been a crackdown, and they're gonna find a way to get rid of people like Bill Schuette, and they're gonna find a way to get rid of people like Rick Snyder because they're just doing against what the people have clearly indicated they want.
Exactly.
And those people have made some very angry constituents in many theaters. And I think when you do that as a politician, you basically sealed your own fate. I just, if these guys want to, continue in that post that they've been elected to, they really need to pay attention to this crowd because it's a large one.
Regarding Bill Schuette, I've never ever seen so much resistance to a sitting attorney general, so many people marshaling together against a particular AG ever. Not Granholm when she was attorney general, not Cox when he was the previous attorney general. Schuette's garnered some distrust and hatred on a lot of different fronts, not just ours.
It's insulting more than anything else because how much did the amendment pass by? 63%?
63%. Overwhelming.
And so basically they're saying that, well, the people didn't know what they were voting for. And it's insulting that...
It doesn't work anymore because in the last election, which this was not, we passed 5 different cities, passed,
unanimous
campaigns, with, again, even bigger odds than the 63%. So that argument no longer works for them. The voters were duped.
Yeah, exactly. Because you see this repeated over and over and over again. The people's will is clear. And I see Chief Greenbud making his way down toward us. There he is.
That's very fortuitous because you have about 2 minutes to get on stage.
Yeah.
Dan's going to be speaking.
Okay, I got to go. I got to catch a bus. Great guys seeing you. Got to go.
Love you.
Love you, baby.
We'll hang next time you're in town. Take your headphones off.
Oh, yeah, he needs the headphones off. You're cracking up, Rick. You gotta get on a different mic.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not cracking up. I am mentally unstable, but that doesn't mean I'm cracking up.
I'm going to turn this mic off, and I'm unplugging it. We're not using that microphone anymore. Forget that mic. Okay. Thanks, Dan. He's got
what a great guy. Fantastic. And we'll see you in Colorado, if not before.
They're expecting him up on stage in a couple of seconds. He's only got like 2 minutes to make his way over. Where's your guitar? No guitar, Chief. No. He's plugged in. Make your way around. We got a couple of minutes here. I think we got about four minutes before we get back off to a commercial break. And then we got Keith Stroupe coming up. He's the founder of National NORML, which is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, who is the primary sponsor of this big event, which started 42 years ago now. Chief Greenbud, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's the Political Twist-Up Show. You can hear us here Saturdays from 3 until 4 p.m. We're airing right now in Grand Rapids and Flint. We're going to add a couple of stations, hopefully up north, to that mix, and keep adding as you go. If you're not in one of our station's listener areas, you can always listen to us online anytime. We've always got the most recent audio posted on the front page of politicaltwistup.com. Chief, you've been out here before singing. You're a musical guest out here. For people who are unfamiliar with your music, with what you do, give us a general background and description of your fair.
Basically, I'm a songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee, and was arrested for possession of marijuana and treated quite harshly, I felt.
So you're a John Sinclair type.
I would say.
So, there's a lot of people who can identify with that.
And I wrote a few songs and was playing them for some friends, and they were like, this is hilarious. You need to play these for people, and I did. And
Would you consider yourself kind of a Weird Al Yankovic of pot culture?
I've got a few parodies that I've written that have really helped people get familiar with my music, because they hear a melody that they've heard before and recognize, and my lyrics are so different than the actual lyrics from the original song.
Now, are there these are all clean songs? Can we play these on the radio at all?
You can play some of these on the radio.
Some of these on the radio. Well, we won't play with that one.
Some of these.
I'll find out which ones we can play, and maybe we'll play a clip later if we can sneak one off of the thing. If not, what I'll do is I'll put a link to your page. You got a web page, right?
Yeah, we have a website, chiefgreenbud.com. We also have apps. So, like, people can go and download the app for free for iPhone and for Android.
Really?
And it has, songs and videos and schedule of where we're going to be performing.
You've headlined here a couple of times. Yes.
This is actually my second year. Played last year. Had a great time. Charlie came up and said, I love what you do. Your songs are right on point. Funny with a message. And we'd like you to come back every year.
I like this.
Okay.
I'm just reading off of one of your CDs. Some of the tracks on here. A Friend with Weed. I guess that is a friend indeed.
Oh, it's a friend indeed.
3 Rules. I don't know what that's about. But Grandma's Getting Into Grandpa's Ganja. That's pretty funny.
It's kind of a bluegrass song, and that is eligible for radio play.
Oh, it is eligible for radio play. Well, maybe
a big smiley face beside it.
Maybe if we got a chance, and I'm not sure technically if we could do that here where we're at. I don't have a CD player. I've got something here that I don't know. We'll figure it out. See if I can't get something on. I would really have loved to have plugged into the stage and maybe used the stage as like cutaway. When we're going to commercial break, we could use that to be cutaway, but, it is what it is. Speaking of cutaway, we're cutting away right now. We got to go to break. We're at Cannabis Cup. No, we're not. That's coming up on 420. We're at Hash Bash 2013 on the Multimedia Digital Network. Get everything you need at Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers. It's spring, and it's time you get to planting. And whether you're starting plants indoors for the outdoor season or just making your house more green, the technical experts at Hydrovision stores will help you with indoor design and supply so that your indoor gardening dreams always become reality. Mention my name, Steve Green, for a special discount. Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers in Howell, Trenton, Richmond, Benton, and Belleville, one near you, or check out myhydrovision.com. Building your business starts with planning, market planning, location strategy, competition, product availability. It's all very hard work, but none of it means anything unless you can get your customers to know about you. And that's really the key right there, getting your customers to know about you. How do you do that? All that dedication goes to waste. The Multimedia Digital Network can provide you real-world, affordable solutions to your advertising needs. You get a rich environment for exposure potential where each listener is a potential client of yours. Unlike most advertising, targeted results. That's what you get with statewide exposure on shows like the Political Twist-Up Show. You can get started today and within your budget. Don't get short-sighted running a day-to-day of your business. Grow your business with affordable cross-platform advertising opportunities with the Multimedia Digital Network. Email sales@radioweedshow.com for details. That's sales@radioweedshow.com.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABISformula.com or call Ray direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Are you a business that Michigan medical marijuana patients would be interested in? Here's an opportunity to list in the Michigan Medical Marijuana Business Directory for free. People from all over Michigan come to the Michigan Medical Marijuana Business Directory to find goods and services at local establishments. List yours for free by going to mmma.biz and click on Add Business. You can even choose to add features to your listing that add additional benefits. Grow your business. List it for free at mmma.biz.
That's MMMA.biz.
The Political Twist Up Radio Show.
Okay, we're live back out here at the Hash Bash. It's actually the Monroe Street Fair. And we caught a little video of Keith Stroupe, who's the founder of the National NORML, when he was out on the stage at the Diag earlier. Here's a piece from that. If you want to watch on video online right now, you can watch it. But I'll play it for the audio for our radio listeners.
We're still arresting 750,000 marijuana smokers a year.
Oh, crap. It didn't take the audio. Oh, for crying out loud. It took the video well, but it didn't take the audio. Well, we tried to get that on. I'm sorry about that. You were mentioning, we've got him here, so let's just have him tell us the story himself. Welcome to the program, Keith Stroupe.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I can't tell for sure. Is this microphone too close?
No, you're working just fine.
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes you got to play with these things like on a wing and a prayer. You just go with it like that. Let me just get our video straight again, because for some reason we were it's camera. Here we go. Are we frozen on camera? We got a problem with our camera. Oh, here we go. I take it back. Here we go. It looks like good Lord, I'll figure that out later. You're gonna. There we go. Over here. Click on that. There you go. So there we got our cameras packed. Sorry about that, Keith. So, listen, I wanted to ask you. You were talking on the Diag about the good news and the bad news. Tell us what you were saying.
Well, I think the bad news, the reality I kind of like to get out of the way first is that there's still something like 750,000 Americans being arrested on marijuana charges every year in this country, and something like 90% are simply marijuana smokers. So they're people like most people here today at the street fair. You can break that down to where it's like almost one person every 40 seconds, 20 million people since 1965. You begin to realize the scale of the damage we've done by treating these otherwise law-abiding citizens like criminals. But I want to be quick to turn the corner and say it's a wonderful time to be alive. The changes that we've seen in the last couple of years and what looks to me like are going to come up in the next 3 or 4 years, they're the single most important changes we've had in the last 75 years in marijuana policy in this country. So as a marijuana smoker, it's a great time to be alive. It's all moving in our direction.
When you mention the damage that's been done, I think part of what we've got to redirect the national attention on is the fact that we've made an industry out of criminalizing this business.
I agree. I mean, it's almost like the prohibition depends on a jobs program.
Right.
Law enforcement's opposition to legalizing marijuana essentially
financially based.
Yeah, it'll cost us jobs.
Right, exactly. This is an opposition because people want to maintain their financial status inside their departmental budgets.
But I think what's important to see is that that's becoming less so every year, and the people, especially where there is the voter initiative available, people are beginning to speak well ahead of the time when their elected officials might.
Keith, if you get a chance, can you just kind of sit over this way?
Sure.
And your camera's over there, so we're getting like the back of your head on camera. I feel bad that we'd like to give your better side, I know that we're primarily on the radio, but for the people that are watching on the internet and have the advantage of seeing what we're doing out here at the Hash Bash, it's nice to get a good profile. So look, I think that the part of the transition that's, and you can agree with me or not, I'm asking you this question. Would you agree that part of this transition in law, especially when it relates to Colorado and Washington, where they've done this legalization outright, in the face of federal prohibition, which I think is an awesome thing. It mimics alcohol prohibition, which is exactly what this is.
I agree with you, by the way. I don't think most people yet appreciate how significant it was in November when Washington and Colorado
event.
They said, like New York did about, I think, 6 or 7 years before alcohol prohibition ended, they said, to hell with you. We're repealing our New York law. We're not going to spend our resources any longer arresting drinkers in New York. If the feds want to come in, come in. Well, the feds don't have the resources to come in.
That's it.
So effectively,
they're forcing them into the same box, aren't they, Keith?
They are, and the it'll be a rate of acceleration that will take your breath. As neighboring states see how well Colorado and Washington do with full legalized marijuana, I can imagine the neighboring states are very quickly going to move in our direction.
I would say that if the people here in Michigan have the same gumption that they did with the medical marijuana law and with the opposition to the law's opposition by the state,
yeah,
that you will see in 2014 a legalization attempt and victory in the next election cycle in Michigan.
Now, I will tell you, probably because of my age, I may be more conservative than I should be, but initiatives scare me if they're not in presidential election years, because your percentage of youth
turnout,
turnout goes way down.
Right.
And that cost us a difference, I think, in California in 2012.
Yes, I think you're right, and thank you for
2010, I'm sorry.
Thank you for pointing out a very important detail, which is we need to engage our younger voters in these off-presidential years.
Well, I think it's 2 points. We have to get our young voters off their butts in a non-presidential year, and we have to also make sure that our message resonates beyond just the 13% of Americans who smoke.
Right.
Because otherwise, we can't win these things.
Well, I think, again, in putting the proper glasses on this for the public, we have to make them understand that this is not a danger to society. This is not a danger to children or churches or women or offense to any person. This is strictly about keeping the employment apparatus in place that opposed this from the beginning, and it was done from a financial reason in the first place. When Harry Anslinger first started working with the Stamp Act, and he first started, working with other people like, Hearst, the Hearst Corporation, and other people, and making this illegal, this was about industry. This was about creating things like rayon and nylon, which there wasn't a market for until cannabis and hemp were gone.
Well, I see it more from the racial standpoint. I saw marijuana,
that's also a huge
go up the Mississippi River with the black jazz culture. But what I find fascinating about that is it got transferred. I think got transferred by Louis Armstrong's guy Mesmero, but I'm not sure which of them, over to the beat community.
Right.
And from the beat community, they started a group called Lemar. Allen Ginsberg, the poet, was part of that.
Yep.
And Michael from
the whole counterculture.
So they went from Lemar to Amorphia. And Morphia merged with NORML, so I feel a real connection with those folks.
Yes. Well, and there was that whole other Nixon clique and the whole pounding down the counterculture in the Vietnam era. It was part of the Sinclair thing. It's part of what started this event. So it's all kind of coming full circle, isn't it?
May I tell you how much it feels that way? I was fortunately here at the time when John Lennon and Yoko came out and did the Free John Sinclair rally.
Right.
And I just coincidentally had started NORML a few months earlier, and I instinctively came to the concert, and it was a fabulous event. And I met John shortly thereafter when the Supreme Court surprisingly let him out of prison after
That's a crazy thing.
10 days after this concert.
It's nuts, and I think it's a wonderful thing. And then John Lennon wrote the song about John Sinclair, and then that whole thing took off, and now he's got his own thing going. He's got his own radio show still to this day. But
a wonderful guy, a poet, a real American hero.
We're short on time, Keith. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your afternoon to come over here and greet us and talk to us about this wonderful event. And we look forward to working with you, hopefully in the future, get you back on.
It's great to be back at Hash Bash.
We need to network with guests and people that you know to get some people heard. We've got a great voice, a great foundation for presenting some of that material. We need to get it out there.
I will be delighted to leave you my card and send me a note anytime you want suggestions.
You got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keith Stroupe, founder of National NORML. Great guest here on the Political Twist-Up Show as we celebrate Hash Bash out in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We got moments to go before we go to break, so we want to get We want to get Chief Greenbud back on here to sing a song. I think he's not paying attention at the moment. That's okay. Go ahead. You got to take those headphones off. Our show producer's running behind. It's all the producer's fault, you see. So look, we got a. Oh, there goes the mic. We're making all kinds. Sounds like a dinosaur over there. Okay, so here we go. We got. Maybe we might have to come back after the break now. Maybe we'll talk about this for a second because we know I feel like we run out of time. I don't want you to be playing a song and then cut to break. So that mic is now off for some reason, Rick. Boy.
We've got it. We're back on now. We're back on the air.
Okay, we're good. It sounds good.
Little minor Hash Bash difficulty.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do? Let's talk to you for a couple of minutes and. We'll play a song when we come back from the break.
Okay.
What song are you going to do?
I think I'm going to do, since you brought up the Weird Al parody type of thing,
great.
I'm going to do a song called It's Only a Weed.
It's Only a Weed.
Which is a parody to the Plain White T's song, Hey There, Delilah.
Hey There, I remember that song.
Remember the Hey There,
Hey
Delilah?
There, Delilah, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Exactly. Beautiful melody.
I remember. So this is like a Weird Al type parody, but it's Chief Greenbud's
just a
version
weed.
of that. It's just a weed.
It's a weed. It's only a weed.
So we're going to do that when we come back. Now, who else is on the stage that's notable singing today? Do you know any of those bands?
Little White's actually out there right now.
Little White?
Yeah, he's from Memphis, Tennessee.
Who else? Anybody else? We got a comedian. Don't we have a comedian up there? I think he's right on before you. Listen, we're cutting the break now. The music is playing. We'll be right back with more of the Political Twist-Up Show live from the Hash Bash in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is the Multimedia Digital Network. The Political Twist-Up Show. Get everything you need at Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers. It's spring, and it's time you get to planting. And whether you're starting plants indoors for the outdoor season or just making your house more green, the technical experts at Hydrovision stores will help you with indoor design and supply so that your indoor gardening dreams always become reality. Mention my name, Steve Green, for a special discount. Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers in Howell, Trenton, Richmond, Benton, and Belleville, one near you, or check out myhydrovision.com. You know, building your business starts with planning, market planning, location strategy, competition, product availability. It's all very hard work, but none of it means anything unless you can get your customers to know about you. And you know, that's really the key right there, getting your customers to know about you. How do you do that? All that dedication goes to waste. The Multimedia Digital Network can provide you real-world, affordable solutions to your advertising needs. You get a rich environment for exposure potential where each listener is a potential client of yours. Unlike most advertising, targeted results. That's what you get with statewide exposure on shows like the Political Twist-Up Show. You can get started today and within your budget. Don't get short-sighted running a day-to-day of your business. Grow your business with affordable cross-platform advertising opportunities with the Multimedia Digital Network. Email sales@radioweedshow.com for details. That's sales@radioweedshow.com. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
Life on Earth depends on plants to provide a major source of food, shelter, clothing, and medicine for all of us. If you love the same plants I do, we share something very special. Hey, it's Buddy inviting you to be a part of the Clio Cultivation family. If you even think of going green, remember the place that started up for the right reasons. Clio Cultivation is here to help you grow only the best and guarantees the lowest prices. Now offering 1,000-watt ballasts for $89.95, complete systems for $179, 8 light T5s, $189. Buy a 1,000-watt quantum digital ballast, best deal ever, $185, and prices on Ocean Forest and Happy Frog so low, I can't mention it. Call for details at 810-686-GROW or stop by 11394 North Saginaw Road. Visit our booth at the first annual Genesee County Indoor Gardening and Information Expo, April 13th and 14th at the Stonegate Banquet Center in Davison, Saturday 10 to 9, Sunday 10 to 6. Get free samples and enter to win huge prizes. See you there.
The Political Twist-Up Radio Show.
Okay, we're back live on the Political Twist-Up Show. You can catch us here every Saturday from 3 until 4 live, coast to coast in Michigan. We're out at Hash Bash 2013 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, celebrating the culture of cannabis. I'm Steve Green. With us in the studio, our makeshift tent studio, is Rick Constant, Ryan Briggle, our show producer, Dan Skye, standing in the background from High Times Magazine. He's waving at the camera right now. And Chief Greenbud. We're set up to talk to Chief Greenbud and actually hear a little music from him. Chief, go ahead and play your next song here, or your first song, and I guess it's going to be time for the only song. We'll give it a shot. We got y'all mic'd up and ready to go. Go ahead and introduce it.
Yeah, this is a song I wrote. It's a parody to the Plain White Tees. Hey there, Delilah. It's called It's Only a Weed. Hello, Mr. Officer, and how are you this evening? You say that you're smelling something you don't find very pleasing, could it be the fact that I've been smoking weed? Yes, indeed. Yes, sir, Mr. Officer, I've got my hands behind me. Don't use any more pepper spray. That last shot was blinding, I can't see. And it's really hard to breathe. I'm in custody. Oh, it's only a weed. 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 It's only a weed. Hello, Mom and Dad, it seems I've got a little problem. The policeman thinks I'm dealing. It's prison time, he's talking, could you please call an attorney just for me? I'm in need. Hey, public pretender, when's my case go into trial? I couldn't make my bond, and I've been in jail a while and lost my job. All for a quarter pound of pot, ain't that a crock? Oh, it's only a weed. 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 It's only a weed. Well, prison life is really hard. When they let us in the yard, there's a man named Bubba looking out for me. He said that I'm pretty cute, but I feel like I'm being used. There's got to be a better way, 'cause I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hey, future employer man, there's something I must tell you. When you run all my numbers, you're gonna find my record I did time. Having marijuana is a crime. I wish they'd have an open mind. Me too. It's not a crime. Oh, it's only a weed. Oh, it's only a weed. Whoa, it's only a weed. Oh, it's only a weed. It's only a weed. All right.
Yeah. Chief Greenbud, you could use this other microphone we had on your.
Yeah.
There we go. So, wow, I just I was tapping my toes and just having a good time to that song, and I'll tell you why. It's just about 2 years ago, almost to the day that we went on the air as the Medical Marijuana Radio Show in Detroit, Michigan. It was April 2 of 2010. And when we did that show, Hash Bash was happening the day that we went on the air. And I was so remiss that we couldn't be out here broadcasting. And here we are 2 years later. We did it last year, but 2 years doing it too. So the reason that that song harkens me back to that date is because when we went on the air, some of the stations that we had coming on were kind of scared off by some of the things we were playing. And one of the things was that song. We played that song and some other songs. And they're like, oh, no, we cannot play that on the radio. Guess what, guys? We just did. So I think that's an awesome thing. Wow, what a great song. Now, people can get your music again, Chief.
ChiefGreenbud.com. It has links to all the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
And the apps and stuff.
And to the apps, iPhone, Android app.
Wow, what a great thing.
Go listen to songs right now.
Do we have anybody else out here? You're going to go on stage. What time are you going on?
Actually, I'm going on at 4:20.
At 4:20.
And I'll be playing. It's 4:20 somewhere.
How did that happen? So, do you want to give us a little knockout of something else? You got anything else planned? A little Little preview of anything? No?
Sure, here's a little.
Just a little short, tiny one. Here we go. Let's try it again.
Roll me something fat and long. Pack me a boulder, you can fill me a bomb. It only comes twice a day, but I don't care. Well, it's 420 somewhere. Well, I spent all my cash, replenished my stash, but it's only a quarter of 2. At a moment like this, I can't help but wonder, what would Willie Nelson do? He'd probably say to fire that thing up. Roll me something fat and long. Pack me a boulder, you can fill me a bomb. It only comes twice a day, but I don't care. I don't care. Well, it's 420 somewhere.
Wow. All I can do is say thanks for helping us to play it out for us. People are looking for you up on stage here shortly, and I just got to thank the people for helping us put the radio show together. First off, let me remind people that you can listen to the Political Twist Up show live at politicaltwistup.com, or if you're listening on the radio and we're showing something off, you can watch it back later right up on the website. Again, politicaltwistup.com. We're this week out live at Hash Bash. Next week we're back in studio with a different subject. So we'll be at our Detroit studios at the Brian Daly Law Show. So that'll be an awesome opportunity. And then on 420, which is the following Saturday, we're looking forward to going out to Cannabis Cup in Denver.
I cannot wait.
With Dan Skye and the people from High Times Magazine. It's the first ever USA Cannabis Cup. It's a national event. It's already, believe, sold out.
Sold out.
The concert sold out.
Sold out.
But you're not sold out here because we're going to be streaming that Cannabis Cup live on this very website, and you won't be able to catch it on the radio show, but you will be able to catch it on Sunday.
And I can see it live.
You can watch it live. But now the radio show is happening live from the Cannabis Cup as well on Saturday. That's the day before the event happens on Sunday.
Nice.
The event is 2 days. The first day we'll do our radio show. Second day the Cup happens.
Excellent.
So that will be lots and lots of fun. Man, you're getting ready to take off to Florida, aren't you?
I'm ready to go. I'm leaving here and I have to go to the airport.
It seems like that's going to be a lot of fare for everybody. Thanks again, Chief Greenbud, for coming by. What a lot of fun.
I have to thank the people that came out with me this morning real quick, if I can.
Certainly.
Alicia Miller, Melissa Lawson, David Fedak, Michael Monroe, and Josh Leslie. They all held the spots so we could unload, and I just want to say thanks for coming out.
Yeah, it's a great time. Also, I just got to thank our show sponsors, brought to you by today. The fastest, the most, and the least expensive Kogo's Original Nutrients. The law firm of Targowski & Grow. Call 800-957-1069. By the personal, genuine experience you get from Clio Cultivation. Call 810-696-GROW. 810-696-GROW. Michigan Hydrovision stores where your indoor gardening dreams come true. The American Cultivator and AmericanCultivator.com. By the MMM Report and Michigan Organic Solutions. By Lexco Case, handcrafted, made in Michigan. And by the Compassion Chronicles at CompassionChronicles.com. Our producers, Ryan Bringle and Dave Scott. Thanks to co-hosts. Our technical producers are Lance Trudeau and John Ilk. Thank you also, Bessie J. Codini and Colorblind for remixing the Political Twist Up Show open. We'll see you next week in studio. Thanks for joining us at Hash Bash.
Multimedia